Hello, good morning, welcome back to my channel. My name's Louise and this is Louise's Lifestyle. Thank you for joining me. So I've come down to the new allotment. It's been a couple of weeks. I've been coming twice a week and I've managed to clear as much as possible. Big mound of weeds there. I'm not going to do anything with this part. There's a big pallet underneath there and I really don't have enough stuff to plant this year. It's a bit late on, you know, we're almost out of the end of June, so I don't really have a lot of stuff to plant. So what I've done, I've got some pumpkins in here. I've got crown prince, I've got a Bangladeshi, or not Bangladeshi, it's an Asian pumpkin, could be like a kabaka squash. I had a spare plant left over and I think that's a bottle gourd, I'm not 100% sure. Down here I've got some shallots in between just these two planks here, and I've just thrown in a lot of Bangladeshi shorisha mustard seed in this place here, and then I've got my sweet corn golden lion. I've just planted those this morning and obviously they're not very big, they're seedlings. Hopefully they'll catch up and they'll start to thicken up. And here we've got my, I think these are climbing beans, some of them. The stems are broken on a couple of them. So French climbing beans. Those might be dwarf, I don't know. I think they're all climbing beans. And I've got peas. This variety is called Terrain. The pak choi is already. These were planted a few days ago, and the birds have already been at them. I don't think it's slugs because I did put some slug pellets down, but could be wrong. Beetroot, and I've got a row of spinach there. And a row of radish at the end, and I think this end here, I think this was where they had fruit. This is a plum tree that I had to prune back. I'm not particularly wanting to keep this, but you know, it's too big for me to dig out. I had a plum tree back at my house in the garden, and used to get lots of pests on it and whatnot, so yeah, and the kids never ate the plums. Had tons of plums and they never got eaten. And I think those are raspberries with some nettles mixed in, so I think that end I'll keep that as the waste compost pile, if you like. And at some point I may dig this bit over and level it out, and maybe bring the fruit trees that I've got at the other allotment and plant those here, the blueberry and the red currant, gooseberry. Maybe I could put them in there, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to leave them where they are for now. So that side there belongs to the Allotment Society. They're going to make that into a community fruit orchard. They had some volunteers come over recently, a couple of days ago, and they sort of digging out the edges, which I'm glad to see because there was a lot of grass and the grass seed was blowing over onto here, which I don't want. Grass is terrible to dig out. And then this side I've harvested a couple of stalks of rhubarb from here. This was already in. I think this is comfrey. On this part here, I think the chap who had the plot before me had a shed or a building of some kind, because there's a lot of grit and sand, and I'm not sure what I can do with that. I'll probably leave it this year and just maybe next year get lots of soil. There's a piece of glass there. He might have had a greenhouse, some kind of structure anyway, and just put a layer of topsoil or compost over it and plant things that don't need a lot of depth, because he's got all these pots have been sunk to all pipes. So if you try to dig down, I don't know how many of them are underneath there. I don't intend to find out. So yeah, I'll just cover it, layer of soil, and plant things that are shallow roots. I've already stuck some nasturtiums in because they can grow in poor soil. So I've dug those out of my front garden. So yeah, that's what's happening at the plot. I put some mint there and some comfrey. I was thinking of putting that as the herb bed, maybe when I've got some soil, because they do need at least some soil to anchor the roots in. I'll transfer them there, but for the time being I'll put some mint, some comfrey. This mare's tail is everywhere. So this is the extent of my plot. There's a big mound of soil here. Now let me tell you, these plots are in the floodplain. So when the Mersey floods, which is just running in from that direction, when it floods and bursts its banks, this area here and the golf course at the back there is flooded, and a lot of debris got washed onto lots of people's plots. And I've spoken to a chap that over there who had a greenhouse. They said the greenhouse was broken, the shed, lots of things got damaged. So yeah, there's that to consider. So I won't be thinking of putting any kind of structure on this plot, you know. Keep it simple. So yeah, up to this where these weeds are, I'm not sure what's happening at the back there. That's not my plot, so my plot ends here where this post is. And there's a chap over there, I think his name's Paul. Yeah, he's got that corner plot. Haven't met the neighbours on this side yet, so I will do a walk round of the allotments another day. But I just thought I'd let you folks know what I'm doing on my newest allotment, and whether I'm going to keep the two, because as I said, that this one floods, and for I think up till March the allotment holders couldn't access their plots because it was very wet and damaged, and they spent ages clearing the plots. So in that time, if I have the other allotment as well, the Withington one, the Albemarle allotments, I could still plant things on there and then transfer them here. So that could be used as a nursery bed and transfer, so I could be growing things when this plot is not accessible. It doesn't flood every year, but it can get very muddy. So yeah, I'll just have to see how much. I don't know what the rent is. So the rent's due in November, and I think they've said with it being 6 months, it'll be probably half the normal rent I would pay, but I don't know how much it's going to be. So hopefully it'll be affordable. So stay with me for the rest of the video. I'm going to show you the distance from my plot. One of the reasons why I chose this plot, I was offered a few others, is the closeness to the water tap, which is literally here, just a few steps away. There are other taps around the site, but this is near to mine, and I can park my car close by as well, so I can take my tools and other stuff to and from in a relatively short distance. So I'm going to have a little walk around, and not the entire site, it is quite big. I don't know how many plots are on this site, but quite a few greenhouses. There was that one at the back there, the very back. I was offered that plot, had a greenhouse, broken glass everywhere. I said no, too much hard work, you know, I can't maintain keeping a greenhouse, especially if they're going to get flood damaged. So a lot of the plots have got lovely flowers growing at the front, so it's given me an idea what to do with the front of my plot. So I'd like it to look something like this, mixture of rhubarb, and you've got flowers, you've got lupins and poppies. I think that's probably a good idea. The soil at the front of my plot is quite shallow, it's a lot of sand and grit. So I think that's what I'll do. And this is what I mean about maintaining grass. See, here they've managed to mow the lawn, but I know in other parts of this site the grass does start to grow. You can see it here on the left. And they don't have electricity on site, you can't plug in your strimmer, so it's petrol mowers, etc. Now this part is the community plot, and the food that they grow here is to donate to charities like food banks, etc. So these, when I was here a couple of years ago helping out someone on their plot, I did grow some things in the polytunnel, and we're told that, you know, to donate whatever we produce to, you know, whoever came to collect the produce. Inside they've just planted tomatoes. They don't seem to have planted anything else, which seems a bit of a shame. It's quite a big polytunnel and they've only got a few tomato plants in. So I need to clear the excess soil around the plot. I think that's probably been washed in with the flooding, so I'm going to get that on top of this sandy bed here. Instead of having to buy topsoil, might as well use what's here. So thanks very much for watching, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.